Get ready, football fans, because Thanksgiving week in the NFL always delivers some of the most compelling matchups of the season, and this Thursday, November 27, 2025, is no exception. We've got 3 high-stakes games lined up, and today we'll break down each matchup in detail, providing not just team picks but also total picks, 6 selections in total. Every stat, trend, and betting angle matters here, so stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed to Beyond the Box Score with notifications turned on, ensuring you never miss an edge for your bets. These daily breakdowns are designed to give you all the information you need to confidently approach your NFL wagers. Let's kick things off with a showdown in the NFC North that promises to be physical, strategic, and potentially pivotal for both teams. The Green Bay Packers travel to Detroit to face the Lions, a return matchup from Week 1 where Green Bay controlled much of the game's flow. Both clubs have had uneven seasons, with the Lions struggling to maintain offensive consistency in the absence of Ben Johnson at the play-calling helm, while the Packers have been searching for steady offensive output week to week. Even in Green Bay's decisive victory over Minnesota last week, the Packers amassed fewer than 300 total yards and relied heavily on forcing turnovers to gain the upper hand. That kind of opportunistic football will be critical again against a Detroit squad that leans on Joffrey Gibbs to create explosive plays. Detroit has historically been tough at home under coach Dan Campbell, but recent performances raise questions. The team fell short against Minnesota as heavy favorites and required overtime to escape a matchup with a struggling New York squad. Offensive rhythm has been elusive, the shift in play calling hasn't fully gelled, and defensively, they've allowed 54 points over their last 2 home games against quarterbacks J.J. McCarthy and Jameis Winston. That combination of factors casts doubt on their ability to handle a Packers defense that can generate pressure and force turnovers, just as it did in Week 1. Looking back, Green Bay's defensive game plan successfully contained Gibbs earlier in the season, holding him to 19 rushing yards on 9 carries and limiting his receiving contributions to 31 yards on 10 catches. While the Packers' defense may not seem as dominant as it did in the early season or in their recent game against Minnesota, it remains the more reliable unit in this matchup. Their opponents in November haven't reached 21 points, demonstrating Green Bay's capacity to control games against varied defenses. Interestingly, Detroit enters as a small home favorite, a rare scenario, while this marks the first time Green Bay will face a spread as an underdog. Historically, the Packers have covered 8 of their last 12 games in such a role, offering valuable perspective for bettors. Oddsmakers appear cautious on Detroit following recent underwhelming performances against Philadelphia and New York, and the current form suggests a sudden offensive explosion against Green Bay is unlikely. Our first full-game side pick for this NFC North clash is Green Bay Packers to cover the spread as underdogs. When examining totals, the offensive inconsistencies are telling. None of Green Bay's last 4 games have gone over 49 points, with the highest scoring output being a 27-20 win over New York. Detroit's offense has had flashes of brilliance but heavily depends on big plays from Gibbs, stalling when those opportunities aren't available. Considering Green Bay successfully limited Gibbs in Week 1 and has similarly stifled other top running backs, this promises a tight, physical contest. With injuries lingering on both sides, and Detroit's recent reliance on Gibbs to produce explosive results, we expect a controlled, methodical game rather than a shootout. Therefore, our second full game pick for this matchup is under the projected total. Switching gears to the NFC-AFC intersection, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Dallas to face the Cowboys, another marquee Thanksgiving clash. Both teams are on the fringe of the wildcard picture, so every snap carries postseason implications. Dallas recently pulled off a gritty 24-21 comeback over Philadelphia after trailing 21-0, demonstrating resilience. Defensive upgrades, including the addition of Quinnen Williams at tackle and Logan Wilson at linebacker, have helped shore up a unit that struggled earlier in the season. On offense, Dak Prescott, alongside George Pickens, has ignited a passing game surge, highlighted by Pickens' 18 catches on 20 targets for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns over the past 2 games. Kansas City, meanwhile, salvaged a 23-20 home victory over Indianapolis in Week 12, overcoming a 20-9 deficit late in the fourth quarter. With a 6-5 record and inconsistent road form, 1-4 away from home, Kansas City faces a daunting challenge in Dallas, where the Cowboys hold a 3-4, 2-2, 1 record on Thanksgiving, winning their last 3 holiday contests. Kansas City is 5-5 historically on Thanksgiving, with their last appearance dating back to 2006. The Cowboys' defense has shown discipline in recent weeks, holding opponents to an average of 18.5 points, while the Chiefs' offense has struggled for consistency, averaging just 21 points over the past 3 games. These dynamics, combined with Dallas' proven ability to perform under Thanksgiving pressure, create a compelling scenario. Our first pick for this matchup is Dallas Cowboys to cover the spread as underdogs. Regarding totals, both teams operate at a rapid offensive pace, ranking among the league's top in plays per game. Dallas averages 266 passing yards per game, and Kansas City has allowed substantial point totals in recent road contests. Historically, Dallas has scored at least 27 points in each of its last 4 Thanksgiving home games. Considering both offensive and defensive vulnerabilities, our second full game pick is over the projected total, reflecting a high-scoring, fast-paced clash. Finally, we turn to the AFC North matchup featuring the Cincinnati Bengals at Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore enters this game with a 5-game winning streak, reclaiming the top spot in their division. Their ground game has been a consistent pillar, with the offense rarely surpassing 200 passing yards in this stretch but thriving on effective rushing attacks. Their defense has tightened up, limiting opponents to an average of 307.6 yards per game during this 5-game surge, a notable improvement over the 380.3 yards allowed in prior games. Still, the Ravens have yet to face an offense above average in this period, and that challenge arrives in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's fortunes hinge on the return of Joe Burrow. The Bengals sit near the bottom defensively, ranking last in total defensive expected points added and 29th against the run. With Burrow back alongside Jamar Chase, who returns from suspension, Cincinnati gains the offensive firepower needed to challenge a Ravens team that has leaned heavily on its rushing game. Burrow's impact is significant, and his presence could narrow what once seemed like a wide gap in this rivalry. The spread opened at 10.5 and quickly dropped to 6.5, reflecting the value he brings. Our full game side pick for this AFC North battle is Cincinnati Bengals to cover the spread as underdogs. Examining totals, Baltimore's defense has performed well, holding opponents under 16 points in 4 of the last 5 games, though offensive output has occasionally stalled. Cincinnati's offense, powered by Burrow and Chase, should increase scoring opportunities. This rivalry is inherently physical, with both sides familiar with each other's schemes, and the historical meetings indicate a propensity for high-scoring contests. Therefore, our full game total pick is over the projected total, factoring in offensive talent, matchup history, and situational dynamics. That wraps up our breakdown for the Thanksgiving NFL slate. Be sure to subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, leave a like, and share your thoughts on our picks. We want to hear whether you agree or disagree with our insights. This is your destination for expert NFL breakdowns, daily predictions, and all the context you need to make informed betting decisions.